It has been eating at me for days, and I hope this lady I dealt with reads this post. For context, I work at a video game store, and there are moments where we can do returns on certain items, like if a game system gets accidentally damaged, or if you opened a new game copy and did not like the game. Sorry, we cannot do the return for the said items. In short, we the employees are just doing what our bosses are telling us to do. But this right here took the absolute cake for me. A couple of weeks back I was working my usual opening shift, about 2 to 3 hours, and everything was running smoothly and calmly. Until a woman with, assuming, husband and 2 kids, both boy and girl. I do my usual greetings, and before I could ask how their days or anything, the woman cut me off demanding I do a refund on a video game she bought. The game was still sealed and everything, but she did not have a receipt, she did not pay with card, she did not have an account with us. She then went on a tangent about how she knows the owner and that they did it a few times for her and everything, and she been shopping at our stores for years. Funny, because I never seen this woman nor her husband and kids in all my years of working here, and this is a corporate retail chain. Like, ma'am, what do you want me to do? I cannot process this returns without any form of verification, hence the receipt or the account she doesn't freaking have. She was basically not taking no for answer, and OFC her husband tried to intimidate me with a child in his arms. Really? I'm sorry, I'm not one to judge, but if I was his kid I'd be very embarrassed. She was still pissed and she went about browsing the store. I left it as it is, and if they steal anything out of spite too, that's fine. Whatever. Her son ended up picking up a game copy and he was very nice and apologized for his parents' behavior. I went ahead ringing him up and telling him it's alright and for him to have a good and better day. As he was about to walk out, she saw that he had no bag to carry his game out, because we actually ran out and all we had was $5 tote bags. She marched right back and then demanded I give her a free tote bag because of the inconvenience I gave her for not doing the return. Ma'am, I hope that kid is okay and he deserves better. Edit. I forgot to mention that holiday returns were officially over. It ended back on January 15th, and OFC this woman tried to do a return on February 10th, and even if the game was stole or bought from another retail store is not my concern. I just do what my bosses tell me. And I will say this too. I don't get paid enough to care. For context, I'm a 16-year-old male in Canada. I work at a pretty big grocery store that sells beer. The catch, however, is that you need a smart serve and must be at least 18 years old to sell beer. Most of the time, customers don't realize this and don't read the sign to see which lane sells beer, and when I tell them this, they either put up a bit of resistance or just move to another line. This customer was a special case. It was about 11 a.m. on a Sunday morning shift when a father and his daughter who looked to be around 4 or 5 years old came into my lane. I didn't realize that they had beer since they had a large cart full of items. The father acts kind, asking me how I am, and I begin to scan his items. However, I get to the beer and kindly tell him that I cannot scan beer because I'm not of age and don't have a smart serve. This leads to the father getting a little annoyed and after much pushback, makes me call somebody who does have a smart serve to override his beer because him having that 6-pack of Blue Ribbon is just so important. So, somebody comes to override the beer and tells him politely that he should watch out for the beer lane sign next time because the company could get in trouble for a minor selling alcohol. I kid you not, this guy freaks out and begins to yell, dropping the F-bomb on multiple occasions, going on about how they shouldn't hire people under 18 if it will, and all of this other ridiculous crap. All in front of his 4-year-old daughter. He then proceeds to call the manager, complaining to him, and then once I finish scanning him out, he grabs the receipt right out of my hand and tells me to go fuck myself. The manager ended up talking to me after, commending me for the way I handled the situation, and we laughed about it. I was on the first register a couple days ago, and I'm right next to the door. The sensors on our door are literal trash, they open for nothing, but when a customer comes up, sometimes they stay closed. As a result, we have to keep the inner one open while the outside ones open up for ghosts. We randomly got this blizzard, with the wind blowing directly inside and I'm freezing my buns off. Luckily they let me have my coat on over me, but it was still awful. Most customers are like, geez, you have the cold register. Fast forward maybe 30 minutes later and I'm checking out this one lady. Another gust of wind with snow blows in and I say gosh that's freezing. And she crosses her arms and says, well, I think it feels nice. I just didn't know what to say. What do you say to that? It's not like I'd ever expect someone to say something like that because what? Yeah, maybe if you've been shopping around for the past few hours because you don't have a life, or if you have an extra layer of adipose tissue, yeah it'll feel good, but not if you're there for 30+ minutes. Some people. Edit. Lots of you guys are talking about hot flashes and menopause, which is completely valid. I'm not annoyed that the cold air did feel good to her. What was irritating was the way she said it, as if I was wrong. She had an argumentative, or almost offended tone. This just happened in my store and I had to share. TL, doctor at the bottom of this gets too long. First, a little background. I work at a furniture retailer, not going to name the store for privacy reasons. Because of some fraud issues we've had recently, there has been a policy enacted that we can only accept partial payments for customers over the phone. The average order in our particular store is over $1,500 and since it's tax season we always see an influx of fraud cases. It doesn't always sit well with people but it's a corporate thing so we find a way to deal. Anyways, we had a call from this customer that wanted to buy a bed frame for a guest she was having next week. No big deal. The order was placed. Her info was taken, and she agreed to come in person to finish the transaction. When she came in she was very obviously pregnant. She was so far along that we all thought she might actually pop while she was here. Her belly was sitting low and she was ready to go. We had no idea how right we were. As the salesperson was flying through the transaction and breakneck speed I figured something was up. Turns out the lady's water broke, she says, on Tuesday, it's now Friday. And she had gone to the hospital today to have the kid. She had called in to get her stuff purchased so it could be ready after her delivery. She said the hospital had even admitted her and before they could get her fully prepped she told them she had to go pay for parking and left to come in to pay for her furniture. I could see the look on her face that she was rushing to get back there. The transaction finished and she joked that she might even have to have the baby here in the store. Hopefully she got back to the hospital instead of having a backseat birth. My mind was blown, still is blown. TL, Dr. Pregnant lady came in to buy a bed after leaving the hospital she was admitted to give birth. Edit. Hi all. I didn't realize I posted this before. Was clearing out old notes and saw I had this typed out. This was my story from before. Didn't mean to post again. I looked through the archives and found I posted this 2 years ago. No. I was not trying to karma farm. If you look at how long I've been on Reddit, I'd have way more points than I do now. But no, this was not stolen. It is my story. Hi TFR, I have enjoyed reading this thread for a while, now making my first post. This happened about 7 years ago. I worked for one as a sales rep for one of the larger phone carriers in the US. It was a slow night and the store was empty when this guy came in. He wanted to upgrade his phone P1, which he had just got 2 months ago on monthly payments. He also was not on our upgrade program. He had already decided he wanted phone 2, P2. At this point he owed about $550 on P1 and the trade-in value was only about $100. Yeah, the trade was horrible rates at the time. I told him about this and he said he didn't care. He then went on for 10 minutes bragging about how he just got a raise, is making crazy money, he can afford to buy 5 of the P2. I just sat there listening to him. I then told him that I wouldn't recommend trading in P1 because he would still have to making monthly payments on the remaining balance, plus another monthly payment for P2, which was more expensive phone. I should note he wasn't the primary on the account, his wife was, but he was authorized. I asked if his wife would be okay with it and he said he didn't need her permission to do what he wants. He ended up trading in P1 and getting P2 plus he spent over $400 on accessories. All along I continued to recommend that he not do this. Before making the sale or trade-in, I got my manager involved, so he could talk to the customer and make sure the customer understood what he was doing. In all I told him 7 times not to do it, plus my manager twice. He still did it. So after the sale, Following the SIA procedure, I made notes in the account detailing everything that happened. Fast forward 2 days, the store gets a call and they ask for me. It was customer service, who had the wife on the phone, who wanted to talk to me. I'll be me, the wife will TW, and customer service will be CS. ME, thank you for calling, store name, this is, my name. CS, hi _ I have TW on the phone and she wanted to talk about the sale you made to her husband. ME, okay, what can I do? Were you TW? TW, do you think what you did was okay? ME, I'm sorry, what was that? TW, do you think what you did was okay? Taking advantage of my husband? ME, I'm not sure what you mean. TW, you convinced my husband to buy a new phone and you took his 2-month-old phone and gave him basically nothing for it. ME, I understand. Ma'am, I informed your husband many times about what would happen and recommended multiple times that he should not do that. TW, raising her voice, that is bad business and unethical, you should not have sold him anything. I am a business owner and I would never take advantage of a customer the way you did. If you knew it was a bad idea, it's your job not to sell it. ME, Mom, I made, cuts me off. TW, seriously what you did is just unethical and wrong. Do you understand that? What you did is illegal, you can't sell it to him, if you think it's wrong. ME, I know, cuts me off again. TW, you should not have sold it to him, we want the phone he traded in back. We are also returning all the accessories you sold him on. This is so messed up. I'm getting annoyed for being blamed for this. It's clear the husband told her a different story. I didn't mention to her, people do things like this at least once a month. ME, okay. I made every effort to help your husband, he came into our store bragging about how much money he's making and how he can buy whatever he wanted, even 5 of these phones. That said, I even got my manager involved so he could hear it from someone else. You, cuts me off. TW, oh, even you manager wasn't on it. Wait until I talk to corporate about your store's unethical tactics. ME, okay, TW. At this point there's nothing I can do for you on the phone, you can return the accessories, and if you'd look, you can talk to my manager about what happened when you get here. Anything else I can do for you? TW, tell me why you sold the phone to him and thought it is okay to do. ME, ma'am, as I told you, you can discuss this with my manager when you get here. Anything else I can do for you? TW, yeah, answer my last question. This is just bad business. ME, once again ma'am, there's nothing on the phone I can do for you, we will gladly help you in the store, when you get here. Have a good day. Hang up. The one thing I was not going to tell her over the phone, is that once her husband traded in the phone, there was not way to get it back, as all trade-ins are final. His trade-in phone was already shipped out. The couple came in later that day and she was pissed. The husband however, didn't say a word. I'll skip the dialogue on this one because it's way too long. Simply put, my manager backed me up the entire time he helped them return the accessories. I couldn't help myself and went over there, and starting repeating everything that the husband had bragged to me about, and I even added the line about how he didn't need his wife permission. The look she gave him when I said that was the best redemption I could ever have. He tried blaming everything on me and now I was able to bury him for it. After that, she lightened up a little. She then returned the new phone, removed his name authorized user, and bought him a flip phone. This was a mobile post.